It's amazing the kind of things that happen behind the scenes.
What happens behind the scenes?
Do you want me to go on?
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome back. This is the AM show. It's an all ladies affair this week. I hope you're enjoying it so far. And we want to do the newspaper review, but obviously there are no newspapers. So while we, the journalists, are here working, you know, our colleagues on the newspaper side are having fun. So, but thankfully, there is the digital breakthrough. So we can bring you the review on our online platforms. We'll start with myjoyonline.com right here from home.
Absolutely.
Story.
Yeah.
Big story. Manasseh Azuria Winnie says the threats on my life won't stop my fight against corruption. And that's the story we brought you yesterday. He's apparently received some messages threatening him, but he says that will not stop him. Next story there, going to court is a waste of money. Henry Latte tells John Mahama. And it comes with a picture of former President John Mahama there. Obviously, we know that they've said they'll go to court either today or tomorrow. And it's one of the things that we're looking forward to follow up on for you as we go along. But John Boyd, who is the General Secretary for the NPP, is also there. He says, we pray for a successful and prosperous second term for Akufo-Addo. Okay, the story is attributed to the NPP, so his picture is representing the party right there. And Ghana's COVID-19 death toll, 333. Active cases now, 888. So that's a revelation that we got yesterday on the Pulse with Dr. Dacosta Abuaje, who told us that the 333, the number of deaths was as of yesterday, which means that he said it was about 32 something. And by yesterday, we had reached 333. He was concerned about the way people were blatantly, you know, flouting the COVID-19 rules and going to the beach yesterday. Oh. So yesterday in the morning, when Manuel was there, you realized that you had just a few people there. In the afternoon, during Pulse, when we went over there with Manuel, it was a full house. Absolutely full house. And some of the people who spoke to Manuel, some of them said they were not going to get into the water, but nothing stops them, you know, from sitting there. Some of them said, well, we saw the politicians go out, so we're also out. Some of them say, well, we're just here. We've seen that people are going into the water. We didn't intend to, but since we've seen people going, we'll also get into it. So, but they're raising the concern that we need to be more responsible. We need to be more serious with it. Okay, so the other stories there, Chairman Wontumi justifies his failure to capture all 47 constituencies in the Ashanti region. I mean, I don't know if everybody thought it was a realistic target he set for himself at the beginning, but yeah, you always make targets, you know, you learn from your mistakes and you move forward, and I hope he's doing that. It's almost becoming a crime to be seen fighting corruption under NPP. Suleiman Ibrahima. That story has been there for a while. He is the executive director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. And one of the interesting stories yesterday that came up also is that the NPP is to dismiss MMDCEs who contributed to the defeat of the parliamentary candidate. So Kwesi Parker-Wilson spoke to Asafo Mafo, the senior minister, who is also apparently the chair of this, the chairperson of this committee. And he said, yeah, if you're found to have worked against the parliamentary candidates, you have to be thrown out. That's exactly the words he used, thrown out. You have to throw them out. So, but later, Samia Wuku spoke and said, the recommendation by this team will have to come to the party. Yeah, I think the steering
the national
committee,
executive.
Yes. And then they will then look at it and decide whether or not they want to go ahead.
So it's not automatic?
It's not automatic. He said it's not automatic. It was an interesting conversation I listened to on Newsnight with MFAB.
I kind of have and I'm not sure that I know a lot about the party internal politics, but I feel like the NP should have a say in who becomes the DC or the MCE.
Why
because
should
you
they?
see, when they work together, their achievements is seen by everybody. You get what I mean? And they're on the same course. Because
when you work against each other.
When you work against each other, the MP suffers because personally, I think on the ground, the DC or MC is more powerful because they have a lot more
represent the
resources,
government, yeah.
and that's a representative of the president on the ground, you know, and they have a lot more. But because the MP goes around and also hears people's stories and then would have to make some commitments, he will need the resources to execute that. So if they all have the same agenda. So for instance, there is a plan. This constituency will have, say, 3 toilets. The MP
God, I wish you didn't
would
have to
know.
say
I shouldn't have said toilet.
No, I mean, not that
what
you
should
shouldn't.
I say?
Not that you shouldn't. I said I wish you didn't have to say toilet. So then what it meant is that people had toilets in their homes. So toilets won't be a national priority for a member of parliament, who, by the way, is supposed to be making laws.
Exactly.
Rather than
developing. But you see, because he goes around and he hears people's real stories and he wants them fixed.
Because he attends funerals and outdoorings and... Okay.
Exactly.
Because if you don't do that, they won't vote for you. You can ask Dr.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, so if this MP is working closely with the DCE or MCE, that is supposed to come into the constituency. But DCE probably thinks that, oh, this other area needs it first, or that area, or maybe we should do the road first, you know, that kind of thing. But MP could work together, and then they can say, okay, let's build one in this constituency together. I think this is crucial. And then afterwards, we can do this. And once they go together, moving together, telling what they've done, it would the achievement, as in the results, will be a lot more appreciated. The only challenge really is that not every MP will have a DCE or an MCE from the same government. Right. You got what I mean? Or from the same party.
And when you say the MP benefits, I take it that you mean the political benefits. Because for me, at the end of the day, the people, the development, when they work together, then the people will have the things they need, the basic things that they need to make their lives better at the end of the day. And then you can make your political capital out of it.
Because otherwise, if it's like a competition, then nobody wins. Also because sometimes the DC, MC also has ambitions. They also want to be MP. Really. So they want the people to realize that they are doing a lot of work.
So they should keep,
I always say big ups to the MC in Wage Agbawe, because I've seen how he's worked beautifully with the MP Tina, and it's incredible. Right. I like their story really, but it's also because they have a relationship, so that's peculiar.
Okay. Well, build those relationships now. It's getting to the end of the year. You want to build those relationships now before the year ends. Don't carry 2020's baggage into 2021. Okay, let me finish up with myjoyonline.com quickly, and then Mama Vio Sabaja will do the daily graphic online. Corruption is business in Ghana. So you see corruption dominating the top stories there on myjoyonline.com. If you scroll down a little bit, you see the video of the NPP Thanksgiving, which dominated news portals yesterday. I see someone like Nana B and some people there, having their own fun party there. Looks like it went well for them on that celebration. We have some other stories there as far back as Saturday's news file, and you have Manasseh Azuriah-Winnie who joined the conversation on Saturday. So let's do daily graphic.
Okay, graphic online. Here we go. Nigeria and SA COVID-19 variants should not be compared. So yesterday, Gifty talked about the fact that there are new variants discovered. South Africa and the UK. Now people are closing their borders to those two countries, even though the WHO says that's not the way to go. But that's a conversation continuing from that on the page. Let's check out the other stories on the page on the graphic online. Government must increase purchase of Kantanka vehicles. That's a call from a chief. There's a video to it. I wonder if something we can open, but otherwise, let's check out the rest of the stories. NDC and others to mark 39th anniversary of 31st December revolution. Now, that's, some people have said that's a controversial one because the NDC, and this was a statement that came out yesterday in partnership with the office of the former President Jerry John Rawlings and the Central Planning Committee of the 31st December anniversary will commemorate the 39th anniversary of the 31st December Revolution on Thursday, December 31. The event will take place at the Osekam Park on the Atta Mills High Street in Accra, organized in honor of the late founder of the NDC and leader of the revolution. But some people said, oh, it's John Mahama taking over this one too.
Well
And
done,
then
Mahama.
I guess our attention was drawn to the fact that this was a collaboration.
Well.
So the office of the former president itself is aware of this event.
Well, John Mahama remains the leader of the party at the moment. I think that's how it works within the NDC until probably further notice. But there's a very worrying story there at myjoyonline.com.
On graphic?
Graphic, yeah, .com. Ethiopia, it's coming from Ethiopia, and they're saying that a Reuters cameraman, Kumera Gumecho, has been arrested. It's a very... You follow up from what happened yesterday, the story that I think the CNN reported about China jailing a journalist for 4 years, and then you watch this one and you think that it's really worrying. But Mama Via, you might want to wrap up on that.
Yeah, there's also a story right there. Tema police investigate alleged lynching of a middle-aged man. Now, this is a 36-year-old man who was lynched allegedly after his body was found in front of a Shaman Pentecost Church in Tama New Town at about 7:30 on Sunday, December 27.
But yesterday, the story was that apparently he was accused of stealing a cat.
A cat?
Yes.
A pussycat?
Yes, a cat.
Okay.
A pussycat, really. Anyway, yeah, so apparently so there was rumor that about 10 cats have been missing in the community. And I don't know whether they found him with a cat or not, but we're glad that the police is investigating. We'll see how it ends. City Newsroom.
All right, so here we go. Gifty.
COVID-19, Africa Education Watch impresses on government to provide safety kits ahead of reopening. Now that reopening is next month. I think by 4th of January, many people will be going back to school. So the NGO, the education NGO, is calling on government to put in some efforts, by providing safety kits. Well, we've seen what happened with the previous one. When we reopened, many of the schools didn't have some of the things that they needed. Some had it, but were damaged somehow. Hopefully, we've learned from that and we'll get a better one this time. Investigate death threats against Manasseh and other journalists. GJA to police. That story we did yesterday. And Hohoi, police begin investigations into assault of court bailiff. NDC yet to be filed. Yet to file election petition in order.
Okay, so can I help? NDC is yet to be filed election petition in order.
Okay, that's the NPP saying.
Yeah.
The NPP is saying that the NDC's yet to be filed election petition is in order. All right, thank you for that. Let's move down on that page, and there are other stories of Maleba, the NCCE, and some other stories there as well. Savalugu, NPP youth reject the Electoral Commission's declaration of the NDC candidate. Over there is Johnson Asiedun Ketia. Let's move on to another portal right now. Take a look at the BBC. South Africa announces new restrictions as cases soar. Mama V.
Yep. So that's a story that will share a bit of details. It says that. And if we open the story, we probably can hear from the South African president. But he's announced new tougher coronavirus restrictions a day after South Africa recorded more than 1 million COVID-19 cases. So indoor and outdoor gatherings will be banned. A curfew introduced from 9 to 6 and alcohol sales prohibited. Do you remember this? When they put in the initial restrictions, they also ban alcohol. And the explanation is that the hospitals actually get casualties from
people who have drunk alcohol.
Exactly. So they wanted to make way for COVID-19 patients instead of those who have indulged in alcohol, abused it. So it's coming back. I don't know what, because businesses were heavily affected when that happened.
But we were told, at that time, we were also told that there was a lot of patronage for Ghanaian alcohol or from products, alcoholic products from Ghana because, you know, like it was in demand at the time. I mean, Jojo Kobana told me this story, and so I just wanted to be sure that I indicated it. But anyway, yesterday was 1 million cases in South Africa. It's certainly worrying, and that's why we all need to take a cue from the countries that are suffering.
Yeah.
Anyway, the stories seem pretty much the same as what we saw yesterday. So I think these are all features, apart from the Reuters cameraman who was arrested in Ethiopia. If we want to go a bit more into that particular story, the Reuters cameraman being arrested. I mean, Reuters is not a small media organization, so I don't know how the cameraman, you know, will be arrested. So it says that the Reuters is condemning the arrest of his cameraman Kumera Gimechi in Ethiopia, saying no reason has been given for his detention. His family said police handcuffed and took him away from their home in the capital Addis Ababa on Thursday and seized his phone and computer. Police have not yet commented. He covered the conflict in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region, and this conflict has been going on for a while between the Tigray and the Ethiopian forces. But it was not clear whether his arrest was connected to his work, Reuters said. So we hope that they let him go, especially if it has to do with his work. But it looks like from what the story has at the moment, we need some more details to be convinced of what happened.
Well, if you go up, you would see one of the big stories in America today. We know that Joe Biden takes charge of the country January 20, so that's the headline there. Of course, Trump has not conceded, but now Biden says that he's not getting some information, particularly from the defense ministry. So he's not getting information even as he gets ready to transition to power. That's the big news from the U.S. With this headline.
Sure, he will.
That's acceptable. And these are political actors from the Trump side who are not necessarily
given information. Well, yeah. Anyway, but you'd also have the real technocrats, the people on the ground who actually do the work, who will be happy to give you information. But I think maybe this is like some sort of a crossroad for the United States, and the way they get through it will determine a lot going forward.
You would have thought that, like with where we've gotten to, especially when the Trump administration or Mr. Trump, if you like, did not succeed with his legal actions, at least he would accept that, oh, I disagree, but because they say I have lost, even though I'm not convinced that I have lost. Even the courts don't agree with me, so we have to move on. But that's not what he's done. He says, who knows? He may be the next president.
Okay.
Well, do the CNN from the BBC, or there's something that's caught your attention there?
No, I was going to comment on a story on the vaccine. I've forgotten the country. Apparently, Spain. Spain says it will be taking note of those who refuse to take the vaccine. The vaccine. I think that you can't force people to take the vaccine, but they're taking note of those who refuse to take it. I don't know what they're going to do with those who refuse to take it. But let's go on CNN. Take a look. House votes to override president's veto of defense bill. What was he vetoing? Can we maybe just click on that story?
So this is the coronavirus, the incentives, okay? The packages, the monies that they were given to what we talked about yesterday.
This is defense bill.
Is that?
Override president's veto of defense bill. And that's why I wanted to figure out whether it has anything to do with the Biden thing that you just indicated. Cool. So the story says, the House of Representatives on Monday voted to override President Donald Trump's vote of the sweeping defense bill known as the National Defense Authorization Act, delivering a bipartisan rebuke to the president. The bill initially passed both the House and Senate with veto proof of majorities. But amid Trump's continued opposition, it has been unclear if the override attempt would be successful or if the veto would be sustained. Now, I'm interested to find out what is in this defense or National Defense Authorization Act, because then that will determine, or that will help us understand the behavior of, the politicians involved in all of this. But well, let's call it a wrap
I think
on
it's
that one.
got something to the effect of pay rises for American soldiers, also equipment, things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you need a little bit of time to study that to understand.
Absolutely.
Understand it. All right.
Okay, so that's it for the round trip that we've done from Ghana to America. We hope that you have a fair appreciation. But what it means is that we're still in the festive season. I guess what is happening every day now is probably football or sports, things happening. But otherwise, in terms of general news, for us in Ghana, the biggest is we're waiting to see if the NDC goes to court today or tomorrow, you know, and then we'll share the story with you. Otherwise, pretty much, we're still in celebration mode, but we're not.
But we want you to, right? Well, we're not. We're not, but you see, we're here to help. You know, people, give them thought-provoking subjects to think about and all of that. So one of the things we're doing is, while you're at home, we want you to share your reflections with us. Maybe you haven't taken the time to reflect, but this is a chance to do so. So you can join us on Zoom, and very soon we'll be sharing the Zoom link. But this is our number, 0540-109009. That's 0540-109009. Would love to hear from you.
That's our WhatsApp number, by the way.
A WhatsApp plus. So don't call it. Just send us a WhatsApp message, and we'll share it with the rest of the world. But we want to see you on TV. So we'll give you the Zoom link.
But how has 2020 been for you, Gifty?
How has it been?
Yeah. In terms of the news, I know that we've had plenty of news.
Yes, we have. We have. It's been fast. It's been fast for me. But I always want the year to move faster. And this one has been faster than I expected. So for me, I'll say it's been okay. I don't know why I want the year to end fast, but I've always had this feeling like, let the days go faster. And I think that it's been a very reflective year for me. We've all taken time back to look at our lives and the things that matter to us, the things that don't matter, that we make big cases out of and all of that. We'll share a bit more of that when we return after Gary finishes.
You remember the kids that Maxwell spoke to and shared the story with us yesterday? I kind of had the feeling, let 2020 go away because COVID-19 will go with it.
No, it won't.
You know?
It won't.
So for a long time in 2020, I was looking forward to 2021.
Oh.
And I was actually looking forward to a Christmas without COVID-19.
Well.
And it's amazing that we're now even discovering new variants of the COVID-19. So it looks like for people like myself who had that thought, we have to think again, because we're entering 2021 still with a pandemic that we haven't fully been able to defeat, and we have to be cautious. But there's a lot to be thankful for. Some people wanted job change, but it didn't happen. Some people actually lost jobs. But just like the other story you shared, some people also discovered new opportunities and created something. But one of the things I was thinking about particularly yesterday was the fact that, Charlie, I have a healthy life, you know? And I guess above all, it is my life that I'm grateful for. And there are some little things that I have achieved that I probably didn't realize.
Wow.
And I guess it's good that we're doing this today, because we'll remind our viewers, take the time. There are certain things that you're forgetting. Because you didn't get that big breakthrough, you think 2020 was a failure. It hasn't been.
Preach, again. Sister.
Yeah, we'll help you do that. So keep the wait coming through. We'll wait for Gary. He will update us on what's been happening in the world of sports. We'll start with him. He will tell us, because he's also, Charlie, 2020 has been such a battle, but there are many successes that he's also chalked. He would share all that with us. So stay with us here on the AM show. Sports is up next.